Hi there, my name is Ron McCulloch and I'm a consultant podiatric surgeon specialising in the condition of Morton's neuroma. We perform various types of minimally invasive treatment at our facility, and this includes radiofrequency and cryosurgery, which is particularly popular. We also do nerve release and of course conventional open surgery when this is required. I've done a number of videos on these various treatments, but today I would like to cover the issue of cycling and Morton's neuroma. At our centre, we do see a lot of cyclists who present with Morton's neuroma, and the cause is of course fairly obvious. There are subtleties with regards to the cyclist's biomechanics that will perhaps decide why one cyclist gets it rather than another. For example, if a cyclist has a very wide foot or a bunion or clawed toes, or inflexibility, and many different biomechanical imbalances that can cause Morton's neuroma or make you more predisposed, lack of natural padding, etc. But setting all of that aside, and that really would require another video, the fundamental cause is the fact that the serious cyclist usually has their foot locked into a certain position on the cleat with the shoe, and as a consequence there's a very high focal forefoot force. And when we do our in-depth computerized gait analysis within our facility, we can see how high these forces get, and they go off the scale often. So the question is, how do we get these forces down? Because that's the key to managing Morton's neuroma in cyclists if it's going to respond to conservative care. There's of course a possibility that the problem has gone too far, and then we would treat the cyclist with treatments like cryosurgery, radiofrequency, etc. The key point is that hopefully there is still chance for some of these cyclists to get better without these invasive treatments. And even if they need an invasive treatment like cryosurgery, you want to do everything possible to mitigate and reduce the stress on the forefoot so that the chance of recurrence or a problem occurring in the other foot is diminished as much as possible. So it goes without saying that one of the important aspects of managing Morton's neuroma in cyclists is to make sure that the shoe is wide enough. I mean, the shoes are obviously generally very rigid, so you're not going to find much in the way of shock absorption within the shoe itself, because that's not part of their design. But you can look for extra width, and probably we will do another video just specifically on shoes. But as a key pointer, the Lake range of shoes are very good and very wide, and these are what we would certainly recommend to our patients if they have Morton's neuroma. However, often that's not enough. What can you do next? Well, obviously we will produce specific cycling orthotics. There are some which are specialist inserts. There are some features about a cycling orthotic that are unique. They usually have a bit more forefoot varus pose, which means a wedge on the inside part to try and balance excess pronation, which is excessive collapse of the arch. But also remember, even though the forefoot only is in contact with the ground during cycling, an orthotic that raises and supports the arch does help, because it's still dissipating pressure from the forefoot into the arch. So a very good arch support that very carefully follows the shape of the foot is very important, because it will add redistribution away from the forefoot. For some of our patients, simply having a good orthotic, changing to a wide shoe can be sufficient. Now after that, there is actually one other thing that cyclists can do which can have a dramatic impact on the amount of forefoot pressure. And this is to actually load the foot more towards the midfoot. In other words, midfoot cycling. Now there's discussion about this and some controversy. Is it more efficient or less efficient to be loading through your midfoot? Well, one thing's for sure, if you've got a very sore foot, that's definitely not going to make you efficient as a cyclist. So loading through the midfoot is a very, very good option. And in regards to that, there are two main options. First one is the Biomac Shoe. So this takes the approach that it's not the cleat, it's the shoe itself that has a position which is more towards the midfoot. Now that's fine, and that's a good option providing that that shoe suits your foot type. Obviously if it's too narrow and a Lake shoe, or you have a preferred cycling shoe, then you're going to be very limited because you'll only be able to use that Biomac shoe. But nevertheless, I would encourage people to look at the Biomac option, because it is a good one, and if the shoe suits you, then you immediately have a way of dissipating the stress through the midfoot, so significantly reducing your forefoot pressures and the associated Morton's neuroma stress. Second option is the Patro Cleat, P-A-T-R-O. We will send some or add some links and give you some further explanations on this. But fundamentally, this is a specialist company that produces a plate that allows the position of the cleat to be placed more towards the midfoot. And again, it has a similar function, but the great advantage of this option is that you can continue to use your preferred cycling shoe. And this is, for many of our cyclists, the preferred option that they tend to go for.